to be the network of the Summer Olympic Games.
The programs regularly scheduled at this time will not be seen in order to bring you continuing coverage of the championships. Wimbledon.
When two champions vying for the same title can enjoy competing as much as NBC Sports proudly presents Wimbledon, the All-England Lawn Tennis Championship. Today's women's semifinals brought to you by Michelob. One taste will tell you why the night belongs to Michelob. By BMW, the ultimate driving machine. To arrange a thorough test drive, phone your nearest BMW dealer. By the Travelers, one of America's most experienced financial experts. You're better off under the umbrella. And by IBM, the bigger picture, the people, products, and resources of IBM. And welcome to Wimbledon. Today, the ladies' semifinals for the 1988 championship. Later tonight, you'll see all of the Steffi Graf match against Sam Shriver. And this afternoon, it's Martina Navratilova and Chris Evert for the 78th time. in their great rivalry. 50 years ago, tennis fans cheered Helen Jacobs and Helen Wills Moody, a great rivalry. 20 years ago, it was Margaret Court and Billie Jean King. And now for 15 years, as we come into 1988, it remains Martina Navratilova and Chris Evert. And joining me, Joanne Russell, Bud Collins, and Joanne, Chris Evert at 33 still thinks she can capture her fourth Wimbledon.
And I actually think she can too. Every day or every match, she's played better and better, and she's had stiffer competition on the way. Nothing's been easy for her. And I think she's ready. I watched Martina almost lose yesterday to Rosalind Fairbank, and I think the key is the return of serve. Chris has to return well in that ad court. She has to handle Martina's serve, because if she puts pressure on Martina's serve, then she'll have an easier time on her serve, because Martina won't gamble on her return of serve so much. Hey, I think she's got a chance. Martina is ripe for plucking.
As you talk around the grounds of the All England Club, they feel that if Chris Evert plays as well as she did against Helena Suková, and Martina plays the way she did yesterday against Roz Fairbank, Evert will win. How about Martina?
Well, I don't think she's going to play like she did against Roz Fairbank. She was looking ahead. I believe that. She's going to be very nervous. She keeps saying, I don't have nerves, I don't have nerves. She has nerves. Why shouldn't she? She hasn't lost here for so many years, 7 years. She's won 46 straight. She's going for Will's record next year. She's looking ahead to next year. She says in the third round, I'll have 51 in a row. It's amazing. This rivalry is like War and Peace. It's gone on as long. It has as much drama. It began in Akron. Imagine that. Akron, Ohio. And they're rubbery. That's the rubber city. And these two keep bouncing. I'm picking Martina.
Martina Navratilova, should she go on and win this Wimbledon title, it would be her 18th Grand Slam championship. Chris Evert also has 18. They'll be coming on court in just a moment, the semifinals day at Wimbledon.
Just before noon, but we've also had some warm sunshine as well. It's overcast at the moment as the two players, Chris Evert and Martina Navratilova, finish their warm-ups. To the finals, the winner against the winner of the second match today, Steffi Graf and Pam Shriver. Martina Navratilova still desirous of #1, but more importantly here at Wimbledon, her 9th all-time record championship.
She's made quite a world tour here. Sabrina Golish, the Yugoslav. Eli Hakami, Tiburon, California, #9 American. Karen Schimper, South African. She was down 4-2 to Savchenko, the Russian. And finally yesterday, we'll talk about that match because it was a ripper with Roz Fairbank.
And we'll get Chris Evert's trip to the semifinal after this game.
First service.
Evert opening their 78th meeting.
15-9.
And Chris Evert got there by defeating Alexia Deschamps of France very easily. Then came Christine Singer, a young West German. It took her 3 tough sets. Kija Muda, Katarina Adams, and the #6 seed, Helena Suková.
All.
These are the veterans. Navratilova 31, Chris is 33.
The mature ladies.
That's right. The teenager Graf waiting to dominate if she isn't already, and looking for her first Wimbledon championship. Will be on center court next.
There are some pretty bad bounces here on center court, because that's how this point got set up. Chris got a very low bounce on one ball, and she didn't get a good swing at it.
Times will you see them face-to-face on successive points, Joanne?
And this is a great shot. And what she does, she goes right at the body, handcuffs Martina, and then she's right there for the next volley. A lot of that is what Roz Fairbank did yesterday against Martina. She approached up the middle, she returned up the middle, and that's a great play.
Good depth by Navratilova, and with it, a chance to break in this first game.
Oh, what a shot.
Deuce.
Difficult ball to volley. It dipped.
Well, it dipped, but it dipped because Chris didn't close in on the net. Being not a natural volleyer, she just let it drop a little bit, and against Martina, forget it. You need to get in there and punch that volley away.
Second break chance for Martina.
Game is Navratilova.
Well, this game features the way we saw the last Wimbledon championship end, in Martina Navratilova's hands.
I got no kick from champagne. Mere alcohol doesn't thrill me at all. So tell me, why should it be true that I get a kick out of you?
The BMW 7 Series. It brings new blood. As an automobile that can certainly benefit from it.
Behind this trademark is a century of tradition. Wimbledon, your assurance of quality. This is the Wimbledon racket, dynamically weighted and balanced for greater maneuverability and larger sweet spot, right in the center of the racket where it belongs. A new dimension and power that puts you in the winner's circle. The racket of the future is now available in America's leading sports and tennis stores.
In Akron in 1973, they've met 77 times. Martina has dominated the series in the last 4 or 5 years, except this year. Chris winning 6-2, 7-5 in the Australian. That was in the semis, and handily defeating Martina in Houston 6-love and 6-4.
Go on, please.
Navratilova with the early lead.
First service.
Oh, there you go. And I mentioned earlier at the show that Chris has to return well. And she has to return well, especially on the ad side, which is the backhand side for her.
Wimbledon dominated the last 14 years by these two women. Only 3 other championships decided outside this partnership of Navratilova and Evert.
All.
On that last stat, 2 titles went to Ivan Gulagan, 1971, 1980, and 1 to Virginia Wade, 1977.
Fault.
It's an overrule.
So yesterday when she played Bud against Ross Fairbank, a lot of little things bothered her. The umpire called a let when the ball boy dropped the ball, and she really was getting upset over just little things, which is not usually Martina's style.
Well, this is second serve. That was an overrule of what she thought was an ace, and
you saw her take a swipe. She's been doing that during the course of this championship, trying to let out a lot of frustration. The pressures of wanting so very much to be the only person atop that all-time singles list and break the tie with Helen Wills Moody, and the fact that she's not played up to her own standards are getting to her. Nothing wrong with that serve, however.
30 all.
she did have a problem yesterday. George Grime was the umpire, and her language was not exemplary, and he said, "Please, Miss Navratilova."
Chris with a chance to reply to that service break to open the match.
And this is the ad side where her lefty serve goes very, very wide to Chris's back, and this is where she has to make some good returns.
Deuce.
"46 straight match wins in this place. Imagine that.
Advantage, Miss Navratilova.
Martina's overhead is one of the best. She gets Chris off balance on the first one, then moves in and clonks that second one.
She's been taking her wide, this time up the middle for her first ace, and Navratilova leads 2 games to love.
Navratilova leads 2 games to love. First set.
Here's Navratilova's serve. Look at that. She's pumped for this. I mean, she's pumped every day, but just depends what gets on her nerves and if she keeps her nerves under control.
Love 15.
On grass, Martina Navratilova naturally has the advantage. 6-2, their record at Wimbledon. Of course, in the finals, 5-0 Martina.
Oh, that was kind of a wild and crazy shot to try from the baseline. Running drop shot backhand. Not exactly your percentage play.
$15-30.
Chris in her 53rd Grand Slam event, 50 times to the semifinals.
$15-40.
Two more breaks for Martina, break points to take a 3-love lead.
Game is Navratilova.
And so it is. Navratilova in charge early in this semifinal match, center court, Wimbledon. Dick Braden's tennis tips are brought to you by Visa. For emergency travel assistance worldwide, use Visa Gold. It's everywhere you want to be.
Hi, I'm Dick Braden from my tennis college in Southern California. Are you playing as well as you'd like to play? It may be, if you're not, that you're not using your practice time right. What is practice time? Practice time is when you get rid of your problems. It's not worrying about wins or losses, and a lot of people do. All I want people to do when they practice is to run around the strong side and hit their weak side. So if you have a very strong forehand, then in practice turn around and hit backhands over and over again. Who cares about your scores? I used to watch the great Pancho Gonzalez. He would win all the time in the tournaments, but he would lose a lot in practice. He didn't care about that, and neither does Navratilova or Chris Evert or Ivan.
In the family for both the Everts and the Navratilovas.
Upper left, Myrek and Yana Navratil. The parents, Judy Nelson, Coach Tim Gullickson, Lower, Colette and Jimmy Evert, and the fiancé, Andy Mill. Jay DeLuey is in there somewhere, the coach of Chris Evert, as is Martina's sister, Yana.
3-love, Navratilova.
Oh, nice shot. Now that's like Chris Evert form. She plays up the middle, cuts down the angle on Martina's volley, and she sets up early and whacks it down the line for a winner.
15-all.
Well, Martina has determined to go in on both balls, apparently. And in going in on second serve, she's lost both points, but she lets Chrissy know she'll be there.
First service.
Well, the thing is, if Martina is winning her serves easily, she attacks more when she returns. So she's more aggressive, and that's what she's doing here. She's winning her serve rather easily.
She is a player that builds her own momentum, and it all centers from the serve. The better that is, the more she raises all the rest of her game in terms of
definitely.
aggression.
The serve doesn't really play that big a role in Chris's game, but right here, this woman, everything revolves around it.
40-15.
And as you pointed out, Joanne, that serve into the ad court is a key, and she's won most every point. Chris has had difficulty returning the serve from the ad court, as was just the case.
Game is Navratilova.
Easy game for Navratilova. She builds a 4-love lead in the first set.
A little bit like last year
games to
when
love.
Martina won the first set 6-2, and then it turned into one of their better battles.
Well, it seems as if that's the way it's been with Chris against Katrina Adams, the young girl from Chicago. She was down 3-0, and she did lose the first set 7-5, but it's still, she was very slow in starting.
Oh!
What sets this up? A very nice drop shot. Look at Chris. She holds her form. She looks like she's going down the line, and then flicks it cross court. That is a very, very tough shot. Woo!
First service.
And Chris is saying, I hope I don't have to make that kind of shot every time I serve.
This is a repeat of last year's semifinal. In fact, both matches are. And last year, Navratilova won the first set 6-2, Chris 7-5 in the second, and Martina winning the match 6-4 in the third. A late call,
Late
but a
call.
good one.
I think he was correct. David Lockie on the baseline, let the point go for a
13,
while,
15.
and then called out. And
Correction, 40 love.
40 love is the score.
Well, you know it was correct because Martina did not even argue.
Lockie's a good official, and he realized he'd made a mistake and quickly called out.
Whoa.
40, 15.
That was not a bad approach by Chris. She hit it deep, came in. I mean, she doesn't really cover the lines that well, but Martina hit it right on the line.
Nobody's going to cover that line.
40, 30.
Go from 40 love to 40-30. Chris still looking for her first game. Down love 4.
Ooh.
Deuce.
Martina is known for her slice backhand, but not that well known for this topspin. She's been trying this a lot, and yesterday against Ross, it didn't work too well.
Except at the
Today,
end.
yeah. Guess that's the way it goes. Keep pitching.
Advantage, Miss Evert.
She felt Navratilova approaching and tried to do too much on the cross court.
And that's what Martina forces you into. You serve, it's not a particularly bad serve, but it's not strong enough to keep Martina away from the net. And once you feel that constant pressure, whew, nerve-wracking.
Advantage, Miss Evert.
Martina says the biggest win for her in the long rivalry with Chris was the first championship of Wimbledon, 78, when she beat Chris 9-7 in the third.
What a match. She was down 3-1.
First service.
Got hit in the forehead by one of Chrissy's drives. She was at the net and said, that really woke me up. They laughed, and then Martina went on to the title.
10 years ago.
Ooh.
Game is out.
Now Chris Evert wins her first game, but it's Navratilova 4-1 in the first.
To those Americans who believe they can't find
Titles, of course, the Australian, the French, Wimbledon, and U.S. Open. Margaret Court, 26 total singles titles in Grand Slam events. Helen Wills Moody with 19, Chris Evert 1 behind, and Martina Navratilova in fourth, just 1 behind Chris, and of course looking for one that would tie her with Chris and pass Helen Wills Moody on the Wimbledon all-time singles list. 4-1. Between them, they've got a pretty good partnership. $21.5 million.
That's only the tip of the wallet, the prize money, not counting endorsements.
$15
Now, as Martina gets ready to serve in the ad court, here's how that has progressed, Joanne Russell. 6 serves into the ad court, and Martina has won all 6 points.
She had to play all her points from there.
Well, hey, that's the most important side in tennis. You're always at your ad or ad against. It's always you want to win that point or you have to win that point.
They've split the points in the deuce court. So Chris is 0 for 7 from that side.
I know that feeling. I've never won a point from the left court.
For Nintendo players, get high.
And apparently that's the word on Navratilova. Roz Fairbank exploited that. Play her right down the middle, right at her body, and that's what Chris is trying today. And again.
That match, Martina showed championship qualities. The only thing she did impressive was win. Fairbank won the first set, led 4-2 with 3 points for 5-2 in the second, and the same situation in the third. On her own serve, Martina wouldn't let her have it. Fairbank, an accomplished grass court player, much better than her number 50 ranking.
40-30.
Second double fault, 40-30. And Chris now moves over into Death Valley, where she is 0 for 8.
That is the truth. Death Valley. Whoa. It's better. You know, what happens is you got to move. You got to move over, give her one or the other. Chris has to give her a different look over there. Martina sees her standing in the same place every time.
Second serve.
Game is now.
Oh, what an overhead.
This is a much more comfortable situation for Martina. Roz Fairbank, she played her 6 times. Roz played very well, and she was nervous. She was looking for it. Now she knows what to expect at every moment against Chrissy. Chrissy is a tougher opponent, but Martina's been here. It's old home week.
Beautifully set up. Chris was playing chess. She made her move to one side of the court. She had to drive Martina all the way off the court. Then she has the open court. She just places it in there. That was beautiful.
Some bad bounces in that exchange.
15 all.
This is old home week for Martina and Chris, but the one thing our statistician Leo Levin pointed out was 9 of the 14 times they've played in the semifinals of a tournament, Chris has won.
Oh,
beautiful. And this is an example of a masterful tennis mind, moving Martina all over the court, making her commit to the back, well, it's Martina's forehand, but then going back behind her.
30 all.
Chris attacking again, but failing at 30 all.
Very good backing by Chris. Notice the early preparation. She has Martina stretched wide. Of course, it helps to have good footwork. And she's right there for the ball next to the net, puts it down the line. That was sweet.
Deuce.
That was classic Martina. The chipped backhand straight down the line, and it's awfully tough to hit a passing shot off that.
Martina is not that big, but when you see her at the net, she looks like she's 6'3", has an arm span of 7 feet. She just doesn't miss.
Martina, in fact, is 5 feet 8 inches tall and
advantage
145 pounds.
And watch Chris. She sets up things because she has great preparation. She looks as if she's going to hit a forehand, and she comes under it, drop shot. Master of the fake. Some people are still pulling up their tennis socks after Chris has played them.
Very weak second serve, and Martina took advantage of it.
Deuce.
17 trips to Wimbledon for Chris. 16 times at least to the semis. The only exception 83 when she lost to Kathy Jordan in the 3rd round.
And 16 trips for Martina.
And this is the perfect way to do it. Each player is moving the other back and forth on the baseline. Martina sneaks a drop shot in here, and Chris makes a great shot. Not an average shot, but a great shot.
Deuce.
It's the 3rd deuce in this game. It's the longest game of the match at 5-1 Navratilova.
Second serve.
Ooh. You could hear that just nick the net cord as it passed by.
Advantage, Miss Evert.
It's amazing how quiet 15,000 people can be here at the Cathedral Center Court, Wimbledon.
Martina has such a dominance at the net. Chris gets a little bit lucky that hits the top of the tape, and she comes in, she's coming in, and she just decides to guess which way Martina's going to go, because Martina can hold it so long and just volley where she wants to. Oh, what a shot.
Martina with a smile, and that in appreciation of that talented forehand ripper from Evert.
And they had a couple bad bounces here, but look at this get right on the line. Martina guesses wrong, and Chris goes up the line for a winner.
Struggle for Chris to try to win her 2nd game of this opening set.
Deuce.
And the 5th deuce of the 7th game.
I've never seen Martina hit so many ground strokes, especially on grass. Whoa, that was a powerful backhand.
Advantage, Miss Navratilova.
And Miss Navratilova has a very nice slice backhand, but watch that ball there. She didn't need to hit another one after that.
Set point.
Game and first set.
Martina Navratilova totally in command. Breaks Evert 3 times. Wins the first set, 6-1.
This is NBC News Digest. Here is Tom Brokaw, NBC News.
Our left at center court, and the Duchess of Kent is smashing. What an outfit.
Second set.
Such an elegant lady she is. And on Ladies' Day, the second match that will be watched here at center court, Steffi Graf, the #1 seed, against Pam Shriver. Or they've moved through on form. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The top 4 seeds all advancing to the semis. And now #2 serves to #3, up a set.
Oh.
Oh, what a point.
Love 15.
It's ground stroking versus net play. And nice touch volley. Martina almost gets it.
She was there with time to spare.
All right, to update the statistic in this court, Evert failed to win a point of 9 in the first set. Martina serving into that ad court.
That is an amazing stat.
Over 10.
15.
Actually, for Chris, that's a horrifying stat.
Third double fault.
30.
First set statistics. Evert a higher serve percentage, but of course she doesn't have an aggressive a serve. Aces only 1 for Martina. Double faults 2-1, 14-12 plus 2 for Navratilova in winners.
Oh,
That was just a plain old great get.
30 all.
You have to get low on grass.
And she does it.
the genuflection volley.
And that volley, she caught it at the top of the racket. She just flicked it over with her wrist. She's got a powerful wrist. Whew. Whoa.
What an all-court point.
And if ever you want an
14,
example
30.
of the phrase close in on the net, that last volley, Martina was 2 feet from the net, and that is closing on the net. A lot of people only get that close when they shake hands at the end of the match.
Here's the 12th serve to the ad court, and Chris still looking for her first point.
Deuce.
And it comes at a needy time. As Chris already down, losing the first set 6-1. Would like very much to put a little pressure on Navratilova and break her to open the second. Denies 1 game point.
Advantage, Miss Evert.
And this sets up, she hits down in the middle on the return, but a very aggressive backhand. And she took a very small angle there to pass her. That was a nice shot.
Only her second chance to break in the match, Evert.
Chris thought it was a double fault.
Game is up.
All right.
So Chris Evert breaks Navratilova for the first time, and she takes the early lead in the second set.
It's official.
It's summer, all right.
Let's do it.
Can't beat it. Let's go. They're coming. So real. Here we go. Get your official soft drink of summer here. Ice cold Coca-Cola Classic.
Where'd everybody go?
Hey, I like your new car. Thanks. It's got loads of power and really holds the road. You need all that performance? No, but it's nice to know it's there. You really have to take care of a car like this. A car like this is supposed to take care of you. That's why I bought Michelin's.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Intelligent, ingenious, in a world by itself, the new Maxim Series I. Only from the mind of Minolta.
Greece, Australia, Brazil, People's Republic of China.
For 16 days this summer, the sons and daughters of the world will gather to share the dream.
Soviet Union.
And the flame will burn a little brighter.
Of America.
The world is coming to Seoul.
Evert serving after breaking Navratilova to start this second set.
Where's Chris?
Whoa, that was scary. Chris hit the best lob I've ever seen. And then
15 love.
It's almost as if she was back at the baseline. She was watching. She was saying, like a lot of us do, oh, what a great shot. That's going to be a winner.
Chris to the net 13 times, 7 points won, but of course Martina will, if it goes 3 sets, be up there 100 times.
Great get.
$15 all.
A lot of these points are getting set up by the fact that there have been some horrendous bounces, really low bounces, but on that, Martina managed to stab a backhand volley into the open court. That's just sheer strength, sheer arm strength. The groundskeeper of Wimbledon this year has really gotten some bad PR because the players have been complaining about the grass this year and how it has just gotten torn up so easily.
That's Jim Thorne. But he does a good job. Weather was against him.
$40-15. How was it different, Joanne? You played on. How was it different from previous years?
Well, the fact that Wimbledon owns the club right next door, Orangi Park, and players were saying they'd go over there and practice, and the height of the ball off of the court was different from Orangi, and it's only a couple hundred yards away to Wimbledon. The ball bounce was different. It's much lower here, so you really couldn't get into a rhythm or groove.
Double fold number 2 for Chris to 40-30. Court's much softer this year, and some of them ripped up terribly. Court 1 just looked as if somebody was playing with firecrackers around the service tee. right in the corner by Chris Evert for a 2-love lead in the second.
And Chris is mixing it up a lot better in this set
Evert needs 2 games to love, second
than
set.
she had in the first set. She really was being dominated by Martina, especially when she came to net. And instead, she's back, good preparation, just a quick little lob. And boy, was it perfect, right on the line.
Now that was a beautiful lob. 10 years ago when they played in the final, Chris hit a short lob. Martina was all over it and missed it entirely. She whiffed, and she said, I was so embarrassed. That was the start of my getting back into the match. I was losing in the third set, and she said, I thought as I missed that ball, how many millions of people are watching me do that?
Oh. That was a horrendous bounce, too. It's pretty tough on television to see the bounces, but Martina takes this ball and she makes a great shot here. Look at the low bounce. Chris just slugs it. Oh, Martina. What makes Martina so good on these kind of rallies is the fact that woman can motor. Chris runs up here and hits a great shot. Watch Martina's feet. She's constantly moving. She's right behind the ball. Flicks it into the open court for a winner.
30-15.
Now there was a smart play by Navratilova, knowing there are a lot of bad bounces in the center of the courts. He just volleyed from well inside the baseline.
Jean Barotra, the great French player of the 1920s, still playing in his 90th year, says, you must never let the ball bounce on the grass court, monsieur. And he's absolutely correct.
I hope a better French accent than that.
Well, he speaks better English than I do, but that's not hard.
Oh, just inside the line for Evert for 40-30.
And this is a great start for Chris because she's making Martina work on her serve. I mean, she's not just winning at 40-love, 40-15. That's too easy because Martina really gets on a roll and her confidence gets high. So Chris has got to make her work for those points, and occasionally when she gets a break point, take advantage of it.
Well, that double fault helps. That's only the second time she's won the point on that side. Number 4 for Navratilova has been quite uncharacteristic during the entire course of this championship, committing double faults. And when that serve starts to go, as Joanne pointed out, she's a much different player, as most are, but perhaps more so for her. No bounce there. Kind of like a fastball pitcher who finds out that he can't throw a fastball and must try to get the side out just using curves, and you just don't approach each batter the same way. And so with Martina, that serve starts to slip on her, and it bothers her emotionally and certainly takes the aggression away. Chance for Chris to jump out 3-love.
Deuce.
And she sort of handcuffed Chris on that serve. Served right into the body instead of wide backhand. Martina mixes her serve up really well. It's not that she just hits it in there so hard that no one can return it. She does. She has a lot of different serves.
Advantage, Miss Navratilova.
Yeah, those last two, she swung Chris wide. Let's see if she mixes it up down the middle.
Game, Miss Navratilova.
Navratilova survives one break point against. It's 2-1 in the second. Martina leads by a set.
Honduras on the tropical island of St. Croix. Beauty and the Beast on NBC Sports World.
Well, our people in production have come up with an interesting piece of information showing you where the first serve placement is for each player. In the first set, Chris Evert, no real pattern there. She's just been serving it in play. Where Martina Navratilova, now Joanne Russell, what does that tell you? The A stands for the one ace in the match.
Well, it tells you that she didn't get a lot of first serves in the first set, but that her second serve is very effective.
2-1. Evert serves in the second set.
Whoa, what a bounce.
15 love. love.
This year at Wimbledon, Martina just doesn't seem that dominant to me.
On serve, first serves in, Navratilova nearly 80%. You see Chris not much more than 50%.
Martina covers the wide angle ball so well. She's standing in the middle of the court. She guesses right, and she has so much strength in her arm that when she's stretched out as wide as she possibly can get with no real body or legs behind the ball, she still can make a great volley just because of that little extra arm strength she has.
On the baseline, 30 all.
30 all.
And you think to yourself, well, why is Chris playing Martina's backhand? Why is she coming into the net? She approached cross-court to her backhand. She volleyed back to her backhand. Well, it is the weaker shot, but Martina has a lot of variation off of it. And there she shows you she dinked one, and then she lobbed perfectly over Chris's head.
40-30.
Martina is much more capable of hitting a forehand winner rather than a backhand winner. She doesn't really blow her backhand by you as much.
Game is 7.
But Chris Evert leads 3-1 in the second. Navratilova a set to love.
Miss Evert leads 3-1, second set.
Martina Navratilova, 6-1, came out charging against Chris Evert in the semifinal match on center court. 34 minutes. She is one set away from the finals, but Chris Evert leads by a break in the second, 3-1. Well, a reminder tonight at 12:45, Charlie Jones and Stan Smith will have the other match for you in its entirety as Steffi Graf meets Pam Shriver. Winner of that to meet the winner of this match in the finals. Breakfast at Wimbledon, 9 o'clock Saturday morning.
30 love.
at Wimbledon. Not many to match that. 20 losses between them and nearly 200 opportunities, and 8 of the losses were shared back and forth.
40 love.
Martina 6-2 against Chris at Wimbledon.
Martina's having a really good season. 48-3 match record. Won 6 tournaments.
It's hard to do with Steffi Graf on the tour, isn't it?
Yeah, and remember, a year ago, she hadn't won a tournament until this.
First love game of the match. Navratilova trails in the second set, 3-2 to Chris Evert, up a set. Down a break in the second set. Navratilova with opening.
Wasn't this predictable, Joanne?
Well, yeah, because this is where Chris has been trying to pass the whole match, that little short cross court, and Martina closes in so close that she's right there on top of the net for that shot. An
extraordinary rally on grass, and it ends with a shot off the back of the baseline. Everett's point.
That must be the longest rally of the tournament on this court.
I think so. Really, I really do think so.
15-30.
And I also think that if Chris wants to win this match, she's just going to have to play it that deep to Martina's backhand until either she wins the point. She just can't play to her forehand. She has to almost go back to junior roots here and say, all right, I'm going to hit 50 balls to her backhand until I get the ball that I want. Make her suffer out there.
15-30. Match now 1 hour old. Two chances to win back that break that started this set and put Navratilova on even keel in the second after winning the first impressively 6-1.
Oh.
Whoa!
Well, you heard Martina. That's a great shot.
You certainly know it's a great shot. When your opponent, she's running to the net, and she's made a gorgeous approach shot. Now, look at the depth on this approach shot. Chris just stays down, and by the ball hadn't even hit the ground, and Martina said, hey, nice shot.
Another break point.
An approach on the first ball.
Game is Navratilova.
And Navratilova breaks to 3-all.
3 games all, second set.
Martina Navratilova is so athletic. That ball, it was really a perfect lob.
The all-time leaders in singles titles. Evert with 155 and Navratilova 135. That in the modern era.
Men's record 105, Jimmy Connors.
15 love.
Chris has got to make some returns. She's got to force Martina into doing something different on her serve. That means, hey, I got to get a few over, win a few points, especially on this side.
30 love.
A new phase as she thinks ahead. About a month from now, she'll be marrying Andy Mill. That could be part of that quote from Chris.
She and Martina will be playing Steffi and Gabi's kids. Here's Andy Mill.
$30-15.
Very passive crowd at center court today. They may be worn out from some exciting action that's preceded this in this championship. They seem ready to really have a chance to cheer.
There's a strange feel to this match. I think people would love to see Chris win, but I think they'd also love to have Martina have a shot at number 9. And the final they want, I believe, is Navratilova and Graf.
So they really can't get themselves cheering too hard for either side.
Oh, whoa.
What set this up? A return of serve. It makes Martina bend. She hits a great shot here. Chris goes down the line. She'd gone cross court for a majority of the points until that one. So it kind of set it up.
So 30 all. And now a second serve. To break back.
And that's a good sign from Chris. She was really aggressive on that second serve. You know, she moved in, she took her backhand back, and she says, I'm hitting this little spud.
With the answer, and she leads by a break in the second.
Friday, be sure to catch TV's hilarious bloopers and a revealing practical joke on Meredith Baxter Burnett. Then Sonny Spoon puts the hustle on a prostitution ring.
Tough job, but someone's got to do it.
And on Miami Vice, Crockett and Tubbs are caught in a bizarre game of deception and...
The 1988 Wimbledon Tennis Championships are being brought to you by Chrysler Motors. We just want to be the best. By Visa, for emergency travel assistance worldwide. It's everywhere you want to be. By Lady Mitchum Antiperspirant. So effective, you could even skip a day. And by your local Coca-Cola bottler and Coca-Cola Classic, the official soft drink of summer. Famed center court. This crowd alive on that last point as Chris Evert able to break and a 4-3 lead.
Best service.
That's only the first chance for Edwin Fortescue Hradance in the second set. He had 5 in the first set. Very tough set for him.
I love the way Chris played that point. She was moving Martina all over the court. Notice how she hits down the middle. It was a little short, but it sets her up here for this next shot. Nice cross court. Woo!
Uh-oh.
But Chris playing that point out, defending it, but finally hits long, and some raindrops begin to fall at center court.
Definitely. Umbella's up, trying to go up in standing room one. Umbella was forced down. Don't put that up in front of me, old boy.
The
By
umpires.
Richard Lum. Referee Alan Mills.
Alan's right there to make the decision whether to play or not to play.
Martina has the tougher situation wearing spectacles.
And complained about that 3 days ago against Larissa Sevchenko late in the evening and with rain, and she was down 4-2 in the first set before they halted play, and
Well,
she just couldn't see.
That's the chance you take. It's not raining that hard in Wimbledon. It has to be raining pretty hard for you to quit.
It's wide, 15-30.
I'm sure Billie Jean King could tell us some stories about rain.
And play momentarily has been suspended as they'll bring the grounds crew out and quickly cover center court. So play halted for the moment. It does not appear to be a serious rain. There's patches of blue in the near horizon. 6-1. Martina Navratilova wins the first set. Chris Evert up a break, 4-3 in the second, 15-30. And we'll return to Wimbledon after this. Vic Braden's tennis tips are brought to you by Visa. For emergency travel assistance worldwide, use Visa Gold. It's everywhere you want to be.
Hi, I'm Vic Braden from my tennis college in Southern California. You know, if you're taking instruction in any sport, it's extremely important for the instructor to know how you learn. That way they can maximize performance and enjoyment. Well, how do people learn? Well, people are visual learners, doers, thinkers, feelers. And at my tennis college and at my ski college in Aspen, we have people actually wear colored badges to denote how they learn. It's important that you know so you can communicate that to the instructor. It doesn't do the instructor any good to be working on visual demonstrations when you're a feeler. You may have to close your eyes and go through that drill. So communicate that. And it's too late to say to an instructor, look, I haven't understood a word you've said since 8:30 this morning, and it's nearly dark. Communicate how you learn. Plus, it'll be faster and you'll have more fun.
If you want to pull for the U.S. Olympic team as they prepare to take on the world in Seoul, pull out your Visa card. Because whenever you use Visa, we'll make a donation to the team.
We'll play that ever-popular game of people watching as the showers fall. A little serious at times, but we understand that play will continue. Chris Evert and Martina Navratilova. Navratilova 6-1 in the first set. Chris up a break, leading 4-3 in the second, 15-30 on her serve. And we'll check the forecast when we return to the All England Club.
Many financial opportunities offer protection, yet one stands out because it also offers potential for growth. The Traveler's Universal Life. Life insurance protection and tax-deferred growth opportunity. So you'll have a special kind of nest egg to secure the financial future of your family or business. Get the Traveler's Universal Life and watch your opportunities grow. The Travelers, you're better off under the umbrella.
Behind this trademark is a century of tradition. What we wear is what...
A crane that's over 200 feet off the ground. Those gentlemen, they came down when that shower arrived, and now with the skies clearing, they're back up on top to take that sensational shot of the All England Club, and I don't think I'd want to replace them at all. I'm not sure that that's a job that pays well enough. Well, it's 6-1. Navratilova in the first set. Evert serving at 15-30 in the second with a break lead. And as we started today, Joanne Russell was keeping her eye on serving percentages, feeling that that was the key to the match for Martina Navratilova, her serves, and for Chris to return serves. One of the things, as we had a chance during that rain break to study, was the success on second serves, and both women have had their share of difficulties whenever they've had to go to the second ball, and we'll show you that in a moment. 1 hour, 9-minute rain delay, and at 4:22 in the afternoon, London time, this semifinal match will resume.
The last such delay here in a semifinal also involved Chris Evert. This was in 1982. She was playing Billie Jean King, who was then 37, a surprise semifinalist. And the rain came just when Billie Jean needed it. She won the second set, but Chris won in 3.
That's amazing. 37 years old to get to the semifinals. Whew.
It's long, and that was a big point.
Do you love to see a cheapie like that when you're down 15-30?
And with the type of serve Chris has, she's not going to get a lot of cheap serves either. She doesn't hit a lot of aces. Oh! People started clapping. Martina almost got that ball.
40-30.
This shows you how athletic and how good Martina is. Chris comes into that, Martina wails it. Chris is right there, and everybody starts clapping, and Martina is on the ball and almost makes a great play.
Game to Chris Evert, and she has a 5-3 lead here in the second.
Well, obviously, this rain delay hasn't hurt Chris very much because she still looks very sharp. And she was down 15-30 in that game, and that's a tough spot to come out in.
Martina having that whole hour to try to plan her strategies, knowing that just 1 point gives her a double breaker. But Evert got that cheap point off her serve and rolled with it. 5-3.
That's a good way to start.
Navratilova serving to extend the second set, leading 1-0.
And of course, both players have their coaches here, so when they go into the locker room for the hour and 9-minute delay, after they take a little shower and change,
suddenly a gale has come up.
They talk to their coaches.
15-all.
Chris able to win only 5 of 24 points as Martina serves in the ad court.
Father Jimmy Evert. It's very rare that Jimmy has been here to watch Chris play. But he said, well, anything she does now is icing on the cake. She's done it all, and he's absolutely right. Wonderful temperament.
Of course, he was in Paris as well for the French Open Championship when Chris lost in an early round to young Sanchez of Spain. But the attitude, again, typically Evert. Yeah, we saw a few of those last year in the finals. Martina Navratilova as she beat Steffi Graf.
A dribbler.
Oh, nice shot. Chris is getting a little more aggressive on those returns. She needs to step in, you know, don't let the ball come to her, go after it.
Nope, it's wide. Game to Navratilova. So when we return to Wimbledon, it'll be Chris Evert serving to win the second set.
That's made fresh, or B, a pre-made hamburger that's been sitting around.
I'll take A.
Really?
No beef. I said beef.
No, you didn't, sir. You said
most people prefer fresh hamburger.
Interesting graphic. And what does that tell you, Joanne?
Well, it means that Evert and Navratilova are both taking advantage of the other's second serve.
Which is not very good.
No.
And for Chris, it's been disastrous.
15 love.
3 points from the second set.
But what did seem to help Chris was just that little boost she got from being down 15-30 and winning that game rather easily.
Martina can't believe that Evert got to that one.
This particular shot seems to be Chris's specialty because this is the third one she has gotten. Martina hits a great little drop volley. And look at Chris, look at those steps. And instead of trying for something fancy, she just goes straight ahead down the line. It's worked. It's a long way to go.
For this second serve.
Her third double fault.
First service.
Oh.
30 all.
No, that was the first service. There was a lead on the
lead
first.
on the first serve. Second serve.
30-15.
That kind of stuff can sometimes throw you off on your serve. You notice Chris is taking a little extra time.
Wide, 30 all.
30 all.
Goodness, that rally. Both women seem to be hitting tentatively. And now a set point for Chris Evert.
40-30.
She needs a big first serve here.
Yeah, she's under 20% winning points on her second serve. Boy, suddenly.
Martina's crab in the alley. She wants to hit a forehand on this ball.
She had Chris going the other way.
Chris was really lucky to get out of that one.
Set point number 2.
Gee whiz.
second set to the Wimbledon Championship final. Chris Evert, 6-4 in the second.
Second set, 6 games to 4. 1 set all. Final set. It's Navratilova to serve.
Chris is really playing a very patient game.
Is that something new?
Well, usually she says, well, I don't have the patience to rally anymore with those youngsters, but she's rallying as much with Martina as she ever rallies with anybody from the baseline.
The key to that second set was the fact that Evert was able to break Navratilova in the very first game. While broken backs, he was able to answer and win the set at 6-4. So their 78th meeting goes to the drama of the third set.
30-11.
Good.
40-11.
That's a good return.
40-15.
And another.
40-30.
Well, this is what Chris has definitely got to do. She's got to keep a stopper on Martina from running away with it on her serve. Especially, it's great that she's won 2 points being down 40-love, because you don't want Martina to gain that little bit of confidence.
Whoa.
Whoa.
So Navratilova wins the opening game of the third set. The third set. And Chris Evert serving love 1.
Love 50.
And Chris, knowing well that her opponent and friendly rival Navratilova has so much riding on this experience with a chance to move to the finals and a record opportunity, and yet Chris herself, with 13 years of at least one Grand Slam, has the right to be selfish. You can see from that point, Bud, there's nothing wrong with Chris Evert's heel that bothered her in Paris.
No, she's in fine shape. But as I sit here, I think what a wonderful moment this is in tennis history. One set here that could change so many things in tennis history. If Martina loses, of course, she loses the shot at the record match-winning streak and the shot at the 9th tournament title here at Wimbledon, which would be a record. For Chris to come back for a 4th.
For that, Steffi Graf
still isn't the final.
And this is our last point, and you can just see the depth they're getting on these shots, and look at the preparation. Boom, down the line. That was a very confident backhand.
She's put 2 jamming serves on the left hip of Martina.
Well, she needs to get a few more jamming serves in there, especially those first ones. They are so big.
Game is out.
And to Evert, it's 1-all.
One game all.
There's no doubt that Evert is hitting with depth. But if Martina gets lulled into rallying from the baseline and forgets to be Martina, she's going to lose her opportunity.
And she's done that a couple of times against Chris, where
sure has.
she was just beating up on her at the French Open. That's what happened to her against Chris. Not this year, but 2 years ago.
When they've gone 3 sets, Chris Evert leads Navratilova 15-12, but much of that lead early in their battles that now have covered 15 years. But Chris a +3 when they've gone 3.
And you would think it would really go towards Navratilova because she is the most fit player on tour, so it must be something other than fitness.
39.
Mental fitness as part of that formula, isn't it?
Definitely.
Is there anyone more mentally fit than that woman? It is so quiet here, you can actually hear with 15,000 people the ball bounce on the grass. But I think you captured it right on the nose. These fans don't know just which way to cheer.
What you have to be a really good player on grass is you have to be able to hit the ball hard, because you don't get that much pace. You don't get any help from the court. So I can tell you, when Martina gets passed by Chris, Chris is really hitting the ball.
Game is now
So they're on serve. 2-1 in the third.
On Family Ties, can Nick and Alex turn cash into cash?
I'll give you that special 1% family discount.
And am I Two Dads Nicole's failing art? Did you use too much yellow on something? Then, stop on it. 227's Jack Hay, Night Court's Charlie Robinson, Family Ties, Teeny Others, and more are on the
Freeway of Love
Crash Course.
Pressure on the server to hold as we're into the third set. 1-2 Evert.
Out's the call.
15.
Wow. I have never seen such depth on shots from the baseline.
All.
Anticipation by Martina to cover.
15-30.
She's doing what she has to do. She's not being caught in these rallies now. The first inkling of the ball short of the baseline, she's going in.
And she's making some beautiful shots. Look at how she leans into that backhand. She's so smooth. She dives for this ball, puts backspin on it, and it just dies in the grass.
2 break points.
Where she lost 6-1. But then after the rain delay, she came back, and she's even playing more relaxed now. She's playing well, but Martina's just taking a little bit more control of the match.
Now can Martina consolidate it? Whew.
But the fact that Chris is relaxed ought to help her, because the more tense you are, you don't move very well, you don't make the right decisions, and that'll help her, especially on the return of serves.
Oh, my word. That was a difficult shot for Evert.
Well, it was, because Chris actually did not want to hit a backhand volley here. She makes a good get on this short ball, nice and deep, and
30-all.
Second serve.
The car company that brought customer satisfaction back to the American car industry is Chrysler, maker of Dodge, Chrysler, and Plymouth. Chrysler, we just want to be the best.
As the years go by, I know I'll always have a friend. Just as long as you stand by me.
For over 100 years, friendships have been formed and kept over the quality beers of Anheuser-Busch.
Darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me.
Comfort in cotton.
Find the true performance.
Suffering from erosion.
As long as we're talking about looks, your nose isn't exactly classic.
Has anyone ever suggested it?
Well, do you shampoo it? Or do you have it crop dusted?
Weekend on NBC.
Those matches at a day for Evert and 1,121 for Navratilova. No one's ever won more, man or woman, than Evert.
That's not even counting her junior wins.
And this for Martina may be one of the most important of them all.
Very smart play by Chris. Martina has used that backhand drop shot a number of times on every point.
First service.
Good.
15-all.
That is some kind of volley by Martina, because Chris has actually in her mind got the space covered where, say, a percentage volley might go, but that volley is practically the only place Chris can't get it.
30-15.
Short, you still have to pass Martina Navratilova rushing into net.
Good deep return by Navratilova.
Game is up.
3-all.
She hasn't been playing her game. She only plays snatches of it. There's a game here or there where we go, that's the old Martina. And then Chris keeps her pinned back on the baseline.
Strong and long inside the baseline for Martina on the volley.
That looked pretty much like Martina. But you notice in the last downstroke, Martina unleashes one of her very few topspin backhands. Right on the money, that forehand cross court. Whew.
Hasn't missed many of those approaches, chipping off that backhand.
You are one of my favorite people in the world.
Thank you.
He's one of the sweetest guys. Herschel Walker and I were playing in a charity.
30,
Interesting
15.
that Chris didn't hit with a lot of pace in that rally. Just put the ball back in Martina's court.
It's hard to understand Martina staying back like this. She's got the edge, 4-3 game. Should be trying to put every bit of pressure.
Right, but that's the chink I'm talking about. Martina just doesn't have that quite as much killer instinct this year as she did last year, although she does want this title.
What a point by Evert. A great approach, a solid forehand from Navratilova, and she bunts it, blocks it right back down the line.
And you're perfectly right in that description. It's a bunt. Her very short backswing there, she just bunted it, blocked it up the line, Dick. That is a perfect way to describe it.
A point from 4-all.
Game is over.
Chrissy's been serving three-quarter speed gun run there and caught Martina off balance.
4 games all.
Both
Final
players,
set.
especially Chris, when you play Chris, you just don't want to hit hard balls, hard after each one like that, the same pace. You want to mix it up. And Chris is playing Martina the same way. She throws a soft one in. She hits a hard one. She throws a lob in. And I think that's the difference. Chris used to just win by hitting hard, deep into the corners, maybe a sharp angle. Doesn't work against Martina, and she realized that, and she's playing very well here.
New balls.
So that over an hour delay
15
because of the rain. These two women stepped on court just before 2 o'clock London time. Now it's just past 5 in the late afternoon on this, the last day of June. And we're into the late innings, the final frames, with a Wimbledon final date to the winner. Net play is an obvious statistic, 25 points, Navratilova 2 for Evert, winners. .30 love.
40 love.
Wow, that is terrific calling. Power and control. What a combination.
Navratilova holds, hits 5-4 in the third.
Well, a rich man may not be able to get through the eye of a needle, but Chrissy can with those shots.
And Martina covered every inch you could possibly cover, except for the line.
A wayward forehand to 30 love.
30 love.
I always do from the back, but not from the front.
Oh, so you pose with a G-string. Would you, Herschel? Would you?
No, I wouldn't pose nude. The reason why is, you know, when I started working out, I
She saved the point for a while with that great defensive lob.
40-15.
40-15. Point from 5-all.
Martina makes an incredible backhand drop shot here. What an angle. That's a shot to try when you're down 40-15. Woo.
Martina has erased 3 game points for Chris to go 5-all. And now Martina 2 points from the finals. It's long. Match point.
Advantage, Mr. Navratilova.
This is a relaxed Chris Evert. Because if you're tense, that ball goes 2 feet wide.
And Martina made the right play. She had match point, jumped on the return.
Advantage, Miss Evert.
And Chris is a study of concentration. And the volley goes in the net, and she's saying, come on. One more first serve.